Hello and welcome back to more Project Hospital. My name is Tobel. Thanks so much for being here with me. Last episode, we started our lovely tiny clinic, which we hope one day will grow into a big, strong hospital, able to take care of hundreds of patients per day. But right now, we're only treating a couple dozen at a time. And I also put down a pharmacy at the end of last episode. I did not, in fact, though, hire anyone for said pharmacy. Let's go ahead and take care of that right now. We go back into the administrative department. And we're going to grab some folks who are strong in the pharmacology sector or section of their lives. You have clean feet. Let's take a look at your secret one. Oh, unpleasant. We definitely don't want to have anyone having unpleasantness against or towards our lovely patient. So let's go ahead and grab a new batch of candidates here. Again, I do try. I mean, you don't have to get anyone perfect by any means, but it is nice to make sure that, you know, they're not going to eat the customers, so to speak, or the patients. You, Elizabeth Wilson, are good at pharmacology and you're a good person. And then we'll just grab a random gift shop vendor here. I don't really mind too much what the skills are for them. They're just going to sit there and sell things. And then there we go. There's our lovely little pharmacy. So when someone gets prescribed something from the doctor, so if we give them, for example, we didn't really talk about, by the way, the available treatments here. The treatments will only really appear, as far as I know, I think the treatments only show up that are related to the possible diagnoses. So the fact somewhere in here, analgesics, there we go, right there. We have scoliosis. So NSAIDs, these anti-inflammatory drugs will be given to this person. So what they're going to do is take their script over across the hall over to pharmacy. And oh, actually they won't, because guess what? Somebody did not open up the hallway like a goober. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I will open the doors. There we go. And people will come get all their drugs and be happy and free and stuff like that. So we also did put down our clinic for radiology. So that is up and running now, which is actually kind of useful. Not exactly the prettiest thing. Again, we are going to be cleaning up a lot of this stuff coming up. But let's talk about taking care of some of our staff needs. Now, at this point in the day, by the way, I should cover this real quick. You can tell that we're getting a little bit busier. And in order to see how your departments are handling the workload, you can go into your department management mode and then go into the specific department. And you can actually see her on the workload day. This is the day shift. This office deals with the medium workload while the other doctor deals with a low workload. I'm assuming that's kind of based on how fast the doctor turns them around. So no doubt that our other doctor across the hallway here is much more skilled. So she probably is able to power through a lot of those different symptoms faster than poor Darcha here, so who kind of has to pick, poke and prod and what have you. You can tell, though, that he is getting experience, so he will be leveling up down the road. Let's go ahead and throw down a couple of offices. We've got 27,000 in the bank, which should be more than enough. So I will be using, again, those prefab for emergency clinic. So I love them. Very basic thing. One day we'll design our own stuff. I'm not really, when it comes down to the offices, as long as they've got all the basic requirements, I'm not really going to get all that picky. Now, what are we going to do for this corner here? Now, I was trying to think of how to design, like how are we going to design this entire area? And I was wondering about maybe kind of shuffling our waiting area slash reception area a little bit farther back into the side, so it leaves a gap for a hallway, because I'm wondering maybe we have a hallway kind of jut through here, meet up with another hallway, that we can have other offices back to back. And really, if we want to experiment with this a little bit, is there any requirement for a specific specialization? No, open any clinic at any, open a clinic at any specialized department. So I'll tell you what, why don't we do something low key, like brain surgery? No, we'll do something low key, like internal medicine here. I think this is internal medicine, right? Yeah. So let's open an internal medicine office. So we are going to grab from the internal medicine prefab, and I'm just going to throw a simple, again, 6x6 office, nothing super fancy. We're going to put it facing in this direction. Okay, so what I was thinking about, if this is going to be kind of a back hallway, we just do something like this. We again have our little 4 wide hallway. Why? Because 4 wide hallways are the stuff of life. This is an 8x6 gap. You know what? I don't really mind if if it starts to get uneven, like, you know, 6 wide versus 8 wide. We can always fit whatever we want into these different areas. So let's see, this is 6 here. Then this would be 6 here. And then 4 would kind of push us over towards the wall. So I think if we wanted to use what space we had on this side of the map, that's about as far out as we could go. So let's do this. This is going to be our 4 wide hallway. Am I broke? Oh, I actually did just go broke. We're going to click on the money symbol to take a bit of a loan. So we're going to increase that. Every notch, you'll take a $20,000 loan. So, you know, nothing too embarrassing, right? Just a small, hey, hat in our hands. We'll go to the bank and say, hey, guess what? We need a little bit of money to help save people's lives. Doesn't that actually sound really good? I think it does. So that's our back hallway. And if we're going to have a couple of different rows of offices, now, right now it's not really done, nor will it be for a hot minute. Why don't we use this space here for a combined staff break room thing? So let's put the foundation right between this area. It'll be pretty big, to be honest, though. 8 by 12. This is going to be pretty big. But you know what? Our doctors deserve the best, right? So let's go ahead and put this down. And I think we have another enough room right there in this gap for another internal medicine office. Perfect. Let's rotate the map too, so we can kind of take a look at what we're working with. So I'm going to combine a couple of different tactics here in order to make the best use of this space. Now, remember when we go into the management mode and you're looking at these different departments, they don't really require, but they have their own common room. And what you can do, and I'm still not 110% sure that this is correct, but what I've seen happen, if we just put a section of the break room, like if we designate this square or this corner as the internal medicine break room, they'll use everything inside of the walls that this square touches. So I'm pretty sure they'll take care of all their needs inside of this room, even though this tiny corner is all that they have actually get designated as their break room. And we can do the same thing over here. And so I've done that before with different departments, and I don't know if this is a normal way to do it, or if it's a tricksy way to do it, or maybe if it's not doing what I think it's doing, but we'll experiment a little bit here and there. Let's also go ahead and throw down a 4x4 cafeteria. We'll actually make this pretty big. This will be the cafeteria. This will leave us room for 2 more designations for other offices. And I'm also going to go ahead and throw probably a staff bathroom somewhere back here. I don't want it to be super far away, but at the end of the day, I mean, we are going to have to mix and match some things. We'll find the best balance for us once we get going. So let's click on the actual room designation for cafeteria. We need a couple of things here. You'll see it says 2 times. So we need 2 times of those in order to make everyone happy. You know what? We're going to go crazy. We'll have a counter here. We'll have a menu on both sides of the hallway. Always exciting to know what's coming up at the cafeteria. We've also got, in case people literally can't read, we'll put it up here as well. And we'll put down a couple of dining chairs right over here. We are kind of planning for a little bit of a crowd later on, right? Because this is going to be it's going to start getting more popular as we get more and more people in here. I'm trying to remember the spacing. I don't think it really matters at the end of the day. As long as the blue arrows are happy, they're going to be able to sit down and use the table and basically sit and eat. So that should take care of it for the moment. Let's also go ahead and throw down, what is this? 4-cube unit BB? What? Oh, is this like a, like where you're going to store your own stuff? Yeah, sure. Why not? That looks pretty cool. I don't think I've seen this before. Is this a random mod that I don't even know what it comes from? A 4-cube unit with bookshelves or with large books. Yeah, sure. And in the break room area, we're going to throw down just a couple of sofas. Again, I am using the space outside of the designation, but as far as I know, and what I've seen in the past, it doesn't really affect who, or I guess what gets used inside of this area. All right, we're also going to throw down a fridge, which I think is actually found in the break room listing. There we go. We'll put a fridge in here, and we'll do the rest of the stuff. Let me gussy this up real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. So we've got a couple of things in the room. Again, not sure how much of this actually will give someone like a boost to their productivity or something like that, but the bare minimum needs of this room are going to be met. So we'll put down I think all we have to do is put down a random door, and we don't have to make it a big dramatic door. We'll just put something right there. And I guess we can also put one here in case doctors are coming around from this way, from the other hall. And across the way, I will throw down just a generic prefab bathroom. I think, is there any kind of a bigger bathroom here? Maybe in the administrative department? Yeah, they've got like a 6x6. That's 3 people at a time. That's fine. We'll put that right across the hallway from our cafeteria / break room area. Cool stuff. I think they're going to be happy with that. Study room is interesting. Employees can train their skills and specializations in the study room. I don't think I want to put this where a lot of our foot traffic is going to be for patients. We're going to do that somewhere else. We might actually eventually put a much bigger cafeteria on a different level right across the hall from a study room. Well, again, we'll see, you know, what the better balance is down the road, but that should be it. All we have to do now is put down, we don't have to per se, but we'll put down some wood flooring here. We want to make it somewhat respectable, and I'm broke again. Let me go ahead and bump this up a bit. Don't worry about the fact that we are somewhat broke. We are going to be getting a lot of bonuses, as I mentioned before. The game does really reward you very quickly as you kind of continue to expand and take in new patients, and you're continuing to add new departments and stuff like that. You will get rewarded in the form of bonuses, which really help to offset a lot of the early costs in the game of setting up. And I think they've got that. I'm kind of impressed because a lot of games seem to struggle with that balance of finances, because you tend to sit there and you're waiting for something to trigger, and you're waiting for some kind of income to show up. So I'm kind of happy that they seem to have that balance set pretty well. So you don't really feel like you're sitting here for 1,000 years waiting for the next bit of income. All right, so there we go. I think if we go to live mode, all we have to do is go back to internal medicine and hire someone. So let's go ahead and go over to internal medicine day shift. Karen Scott, you look like a leader of people. No, Peter Green. You look even better. We've got, ooh, Peter Green, look at you. You are a people person who is resistant, who works hard, and is comforting. Peter, you are now the chief of internal medicine. Congratulations. We don't have a waiting room, but what we can do, again, the same kind of a trick that we did earlier, we're going to remove this. And I wonder if they'll share the little check-in symbol, or the check-in device, for lack of a better term. Let's put their waiting room here with this block of chairs. And there was our reward for opening up internal medicine. And for emergency, we'll open up another block of chairs right over here. I got to kind of experiment, and we'll see how a lot of this stuff kind of plays out. I've not really messed with a really large waiting room. Normally, or sorry, waiting room. What I normally do for waiting rooms is I use that trick where you put the chairs right outside someone's office. But I like this idea of having one consolidated area for everyone, basically. All right, so there we go. Everything is all set. Internal medicine should be up and running. Now, reception works for everyone. Isn't that right? Ooh, maybe not. I don't know. Let's watch somebody who comes in for internal medicine, and we'll see what they actually wind up doing. And the fact that our TVs aren't in the same area. Uh-oh. We got a bit of a problem. I think because I changed the room designation, and they don't have anywhere to sit down. Sorry, guys. Don't mean to make you lose your minds here. Let's put down some more chairs before they literally break their necks whiplashing around like that. All right, what about now? You gonna get better? There we go. They're gonna change their seats because I did change the designation of where their waiting area is. So where is your first patient? We'll have to watch and see when people are coming in. There we go. Yet another reward. We're already out of the red. I'm going to repay that loan so I don't have to pay back any interest, per hour. And let's just see what happens. As you can tell, immediately, our pharmacologist and the person working over at the break or the store immediately came over to the cafeteria. So they don't even have the designation that this is their break room. They're already coming over there, though, to enjoy the snack. So that is good to see that it's being used. Let's go ahead and remove this wall as well, so we can finish our little hallway theme. And I'll put something down like this just to get a sense of what's going on. Maybe I'll colorize stuff per department down the road, or maybe I'll just have all of our first floor be orange for lack of a better reason. I really want to see someone coming in with, ooh, what is this? Hey, here we go. Okay, so Lisa Clark here, she has otorrhea. Is it otorrhea or otorrhea? Basically an inflammation of the ear. So you came in, you're going to go chill out. You're not going to reception, but you already know what your deal is. Now, what is the procedure? Our doctor's gone. I think he actually just stepped away to take a break. That's the downside to actually giving people what they want, right? They actually will sit and go eat. Ugh, How could they, honestly? Oh, hey, we put down more offices, but we didn't actually hire someone. Let's grab a pretty mid-tier doctor. Let's grab a resident here. Early bird and disease resistant. You will fit perfectly into our scheme. And once the internal doctor, who's enjoying his 1400 2 o'clock snack, what are you just standing there? Oh, we didn't have a receptionist for a minute. Okay, so you're sitting down. Okay, so we do have to put the what do you call this? So we have to put this little thing here. That's gonna be interesting. I can think of a way to fix that. That's not too intrusive. Okay, I've got an idea for that. So as you can tell, he came all the way down here to get Lisa to basically say, hey, you're up next to come see me. What we can do is adjust our waiting room a bit. We can still use this same style where we've got like a row of benches per, what is it, like 4 by whatever. And what I'll do here is I will put down, let's try this out right here. We'll add a little tiny wall. It might look a little bit ugly, but what we can do is kind of do this. Oh, you know what? It might not let me do this if it's over a chair. No, actually it will. Cool. So that's that. Yep, this is going to work out, I think. Let's put the Q machine here. And then we'll extend those waiting room areas out just a notch. So we'll say waiting room is to here. And then for the internal... Oh, that was the internal. No, this is the internal. Sorry. And we'll put the waiting room and we'll extend this out 1 notch as well. There we go. And so now people should be getting their, you know, their your next kind of a thing. They got a little bit foobarred because we had it offline for a second. So that'll get fixed up here in a minute. This isn't going to be how we're going to keep it. I don't like how this is laid out right now. And I might experiment a little bit down the road. Where do we, you know what? I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's add a bathroom out of the way a bit. So we'll just throw a generic bathroom down here on the other side of the hallway over by the break room. And I'll kind of make that hallway flush and wall it off. And I'm going to remove the bathroom that's sitting here in the weight room because I don't like that it's taking up the space. Dang it. Broke again. And I don't know. I'm trying to think of the best. It's kind of a pain because I guess because I've got this walkway right in the middle, and I bet that would be fixed if we move this door. Like, so what if we shifted the entire reception up here? We move reception up here to the corner. People come in, they check in, and then they go to their assigned seating. And at the end of every row, they might have this little camera system. Or not camera system, but the TV system. Who just had a diagnosis? Here it is down here in the corner. Fraser Young, we don't know what's wrong with you. You have breathing problems, weakness, and chest pain. Are you having a heart attack, buddy? Interesting. So who are you seeing? You are seeing Darcha. Now, one of the interesting things, I thought there was like a... Let's give him a digital rectal exam. You know what? Do it, Darcha. I don't know why, but we're going to give it a shot. There is an option for, let's see, evaluation will consider all the symptoms and examinations recently carried out. I think this happens automatically. What's the difference between the manual evaluation and then what happens with filtering everything down? That would be my question. What we could do, we can assign this person to another doctor. The other option I've seen before is, what do they call it? It's a differential diagnosis. And I think that's available at a certain skill level. So maybe just Darcha doesn't have that option. Mammogram evaluation. Yeah, where did that go to? There's so many different things in here. I'm trying to read it really quick. I think we really did stick... Poor Darcha. Poor patient, really. Poor Fraser here. Let's go ahead and assign him over to Nancy Robinson. And we're going to tell Nancy Robinson to go ahead and just do an evaluation. And then she will kind of take a look at all the stuff that Darcha's already done. And I mean, would she be able to redo stuff? No, they've already done the interview and triage and everything else. So all the black things, by the way, they're telling you that whatever Darcha just tried did not work. These are the things that were done, but they were not successful. In revealing a new symptom, I should say. Oh, you know what? Crap. I'm sorry, Fraser. I assigned you the... Wait, what happened here? I want you to go with Nancy. You got reassigned over to someone different, though. That's awkward. I wonder if it's because she got up to use the restroom. So there are some other diagnostic tools available. There's actually some specialized rooms, and let's experiment and take a look at some of those rooms real quick. So if we go over to internal medicine, or is this going to be under hospitalization? We might not see it right away. Let's go into the build mode prefab. And yeah, a lot of these rooms are locked behind the hospitalization option. So the cardiography unit, for example, would be a good diagnostic tool. It's going to be able to give us lots more testing. Diagnostic unit itself, that's for people who are actually hospitalized overnight. So we're going to have to work on getting that at some point, although I think we should be very close to that, right? Treat one person. Oh, we did already unlock this. This is unlock hospitalization. Treat one patient per day at any specialized department. The thing is, we can only have 3 out of 3 companies contracted at any given time. So we're going to go ahead and pause Oopsie and take liver TY. So the next time we treat someone over in internal medicine, they should be giving us that reward. Why does Fraser, and there was the hospitalization, why does Fraser keep getting assigned to someone different? Was it because I chose evaluation while she was selected? Possibly. No clear diagnosis. Again, let's try it one more time. Let's give it to Nancy. I want to see if there's a little bit of a bug going on here. She leaves. He's sitting there doing nothing. I did assign you to someone different. Is it because there's no one? There we go. He's going to go back to the waiting room. Oh, no. Is he leaving? Oh, I think he just got pissed off and left. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Go to another hospital. Don't leave us here. Or was it because it was the end of the day? Oh, it might have been the end of the day here. Take a look. Objective complete. And no, it didn't quite pull up. You'll see actually a message about the end of your day shift. I think it happens around, you know, this is only 4 o'clock. So we should still have a couple more hours of patience. So I'm not sure. How else could we have treated him? Let's pause the game and take a look at all the different things going on. We've got metastatic lung cancer. Oh my gosh, pericarditis, COPD. How do you find... Oh, hang on. There's a tool here. Okay, here we go. This is a cool tool to take a look at here. So of all the different symptoms he had, we were presented with these possible diagnoses. And if we wanted to find out more, I wonder, more symptoms here. Okay, so we could try to I guess we could try to reveal symptoms of a certain disease based on what we thought it might have been. So for example, if we wanted to rule out COPD, we could have had, let's see, sputum cough. That's the chest auscultation. Why didn't we automatically do that? Did no one literally just listen to his chest? Or was that... Oh no, someone already did listen to his chest. There were 2 columns of that. So if chest auscultation's out, anxiety was speech listening. Did we actually listen to his speech at all? We did. Oh, that's interesting. They went through quite a few of the different options here. I mean, some of these things are, yeah, so this is going to be an MRI. We don't really have an MRI yet. That wouldn't have been bad to start putting down. And in fact, you know what? There's a biopsy here. That's another option too. I really haven't gotten into laboratories. Laboratories would be good to build up next, along with expanding radiology. I forgot about the second floor. Poor Christopher Jones. Let's go ahead and do a couple things for him. Let's put down another hallway here. I'm sure someone is going to lose their minds at the sheer size that I give, that I make for all of my break rooms for my staff. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. Let's put down a bathroom here for radiology right at the end of the hallway. And we'll put down a really basic common room. Because right now we're not really doing anything in this area. So we'll just give them a common room to play in. So that is for you, radiology, mostly because I don't want to deal with you at this very moment. And where do we want to set up laboratories at? Because I did mention that I want to use a lot of this space down here for emergency. However, we could have emergency almost be a separate building here, and at least one lab section be down here. How big are laboratories? Let's take a look. We've got microbiology and hematology. These are the 2 basic labs you might want to have. Now, labs are interesting. What happens in a lab is a person will, a technician will kind of take a sample of something and then they'll go to a bunch of different machines. So you can actually see like there is, I don't even know the names of the machines, but there's a bunch of different things around their workspace. So what I've found is that manually designing a laboratory is not a bad way to go, because you can kind of get them to be a little bit more efficient. For the moment, we're probably just going to place down a manual lab to kind of get the feel for what the procedure is when they're doing testing. So how much is this going to run us? If we put down 25,000, this is going to hurt. Are we in range of a bonus anywhere? A $50,000 government grant once we treat 20 patients. That's going to be easy to do. Open a medical laboratories clinic. Okay, cool. That's actually what we're trying to do right at this moment. So let's go ahead and go to the department for laboratories. And if we look at the management view, again, same kind of stuff. We need a waiting room. A hematology lab is what we need to start with in order to trigger that reward. So let's go ahead and open a small hemo lab, taking care of your blood. We are going to go broke, so I will take out a wee bit of a loan. And all we have to do for this one is place down a waiting room, which is what I'm going to actually do. Why don't you... Am I one floor up? Oh my god, what did I do? Hang on. Oh, this doesn't have a foundation here. That's why I was so broken. Okay, so we'll put this down right here. And I will remove the hallway, or the wall. Did I do bad math? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fine. And we're going to use that trick I mentioned before about the waiting room in the hallway in order to kind of keep everything pretty tight when it comes to laboratories, like just like we did with radiology. So we'll go ahead and just put down a bench here. A little vending machine. Why not? One thing I haven't been doing is putting down literature, and that actually does help relieve some of the boredom that your patients might feel waiting for your department. And I think as soon as we hire someone, we'll be good to go. So let's go ahead and grab someone who is a good biochemist. We're not looking for anyone. This is an ultrasound cardiology, so you can tell these folks are a little bit cross-trained, but we'll just grab Casey Scott. By the way, if you noticed, I have been hiring a lot of high specialist type of people. High ranking? That's not really the right term. Expensive really is the better term. You're pretty good at biochemistry, and you're only a junior scientist as opposed to a master, thus you're cheaper. So we're going to grab you. There is our $50,000 grant. We just opened hospitalization. And let's go ahead and throw down the other laboratory, just because why not? We'll throw that down across the hall. So prefab, microbiology, they're going to scrape the dead skin off your body and go analyze it. They're going to analyze your foot fungus and tell you that you got stank foot. So we'll go ahead and put this down. Again, same kind of a trick. We'll just use that waiting room tool. Actually, because it's the same department, I'm pretty sure we can just extend the waiting room for the entire hallway, just like this. And they'll sit wherever they feel like sitting. And the little ping system, where all the monitors are, will just tell the next patient where to go. So we'll take a look at that once it starts to come a little bit alive. Let's grab one more technologist type person here. Biochemist to the rescue. You're a gamer. You're a grumpy gamer. God, it's like me after playing Rainbow Six. Let's put in, find a happier person. Here we go, Linda White. You're going to work hard and never leave. Sounds good to me. Let's take a quick peek at what it would cost us in order to open up the other type of lab. So if we go back over to radiology here, remember one of the symptoms that we were looking at would have been revealed in an MRI machine. So the MRI might be a bit of a pain in this current design. So if we go into management, radiology, let's designate an MRI right here. Not accessible, I know. How big is this thing? You know what? It can still fit in this tiny, tiny little room. We can make it work. Okay, so we're going to throw down the MRI right here. Maybe. It's fussing about positioning, I think. Okay, let's do it. I think it's going to work okay. They basically have to get all the way around it. I don't think the patient ever needs... Oh my god, that was so expensive. How... Are we going to get a reward for this? Enable hospitalization. We'll get an ICU reward. 20,000, 50,000 from this, 50,000 from specialized. We should be okay in grant money. It's going to hurt us a little bit, but this should be paid back with the reward from a grant. So it seemed like a lot of money. It was a lot of money, but I think we'll be okay. So What else do we need to run this with? We'll put down, again, same thing we did before. We'll put down a desk here, PC, gamer chair, because obviously. We'll put down the radiology viewer, I guess, right here. Is there a control? There's no control panel on this one as far as I can tell. And we'll throw down a little privacy screen in the corner. And again, I think the only other thing we need is... I think that's pretty much it. We'll put an equipment thing down for fun. Random double x-ray door here. Or maybe a restricted door. No, x-ray, I think. Now, I don't think they have to come through. Like, it doesn't look like there's a lot of space, but I think they'll be okay no matter what. Let's put the radiology viewer on the other side and throw down a door. I'm going to change that to that right there. I kind of like these watch windows, actually, instead. These are kind of cool. Let's put those down instead. They look, yeah, that matches the feeling of the laboratory a little bit better, doesn't it? Okay, so we got that there. The room, we're going to go ahead and extend the limits of the room to include MRI. We're going to include the waiting area, or sorry, the, what would you call this? The space for the staff member. And I think all we have to do from here is remove the wall that's in the way, that's blocking traffic. Right here. I think we're good to go. I think we're in business now with our MRI machine, which cost literally an arm and a leg. That's okay. Nothing but the best for our patients. All right. Sorry for the kind of runaround there, but that is that. I believe that's all we really needed to do to get the MRI room working. Let's take a look. Yep, it does say that we have one MRI room now. Let's go ahead and grab an MRI technician or just a general radiologist. As I mentioned before, they don't randomly switch during their shift. So they're not going to suddenly, as far as I know, they're not going to suddenly change rooms. Like, you're not going to go over here when this guy goes to lunch. They stay exactly where they're assigned. So keep that in mind when you're planning stuff out. I do also want to throw down, you know what? I wonder if they're going to share the waiting area. Or if they'll be smart and they'll go to the waiting area that's closest to the I guess the room where they're going to have their procedure. Let's put the Q machine here. Throw down a random info TV behind them. All right, next time we see someone going for radiology, we'll take a look. Anyone needing to get some stuff done? Do we have any microbial samples? Oh God, everyone went home for the day. We have no patients on board anymore. All right, that is, I think that's good. Let's go ahead and fast forward for a bit. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I think at the end of the day, I'll just show you what we see once the shift changes. You will get a bit of an alert about how your department did, if anyone was overloaded, stuff like that. And if you were a hospital, you would still have activity going on, right? So your nurses would do bed checks. You might have late surgery, stuff like that. We have 5 idle rooms. This is a really good tool, by the way, the statistics screen. Whatever department you click on down here, you'll get a little statistics information screen, which is super helpful. So we had all of our rooms were used. One of our rooms was very, very busy, which I assume was Darch's room. Let's see. Yep. His room was considered to be a high workload throughout the day. This should be different tomorrow because we did hire another doctor. We could also hire one more. Needs reducing. Most frequent modifiers needs reduce. Has boss proper lunch. Okay. We've got a, this is kind of important down here. Why do we have 0 stars for patient satisfaction? Interesting. We had 69 examinations, only 4 treatments. That's kind of weird, isn't it? I thought we treated a lot more people than that. What about overall statistics here? Yeah, the department values are good. Patient intake 100%. I think everyone's kind of happy. I'm wondering maybe if that's a little bit off for whatever reasons. Treated 4 people. I wonder if it's considered, okay, so I wonder if the specialized department is, oh crap, you know what? Let's take care of something else too. I wonder if the specialized department though is a little bit different, if it's considered to be a little bit different. Uh-oh. Are you okay? Are you just now leaving? Are you like a late worker and you just never go home? One thing I don't have whatsoever is a janitorial service. So let's go ahead and add that in here. We're going to put this under our department for emergency. So let's go into a prefab. I'm going to use a small one to start with, and then we'll expand the cleaning and janitorial service later on. This is very important, by the way, because, and really, if you think about all the possible infections in a hospital, I would argue that the janitorial staff is one of the most, if not one of the most important department for making a hospital run, right? Because if you have no people cleaning the hospital and keeping it sterilized, then you're not going to have any patients, you're not going to have any treatment. So we'll make sure that we give this a lot of attention. Let's go ahead and grab a couple folks here. We'll put, I'm just going to hire generic folks right now. Oh, you know what? Hang on. You're slow. That's actually probably the worst person to hire because they do a lot of movement. Sorry, you're fired. There was a mix-up in your paperwork. Oh, they came in and everything. Let's grab someone else for the day shift and reveal the traits here. So, why is everyone slow? I don't want to hire. You're not going to learn very much, but you're loyal. That sounds good. That means you'll take a bit of a pay cut. What I really would like to have is people who are fast. You're a glutton, that's fine. You can eat a lot at night. I don't care what you do during your night shift, and that's fine. Nancy Baker, you are as neutral as possible. So, one thing about janitorial, the way this works for janitorial services, the janitors will clean up, and the cleaning crew will clean up any area that has a designation. So, if you notice that we've got all these different rooms here, for example, all of these will be cleaned by the staff. However, the hallway does need to be designated as a corridor for it to be cleaned by that department's staff. So we're going to go ahead and say this entire space is corridor. You guys are going to be responsible for a ton of space and cleaning. So we're going to say this is corridor here. We'll give them a lot of tools down the road and a lot of staff members to help everything get cleaned. This stuff becomes very important later on, though. Once you start having emergencies and you have people bleeding on your floors, you really want to get that stuff cleaned up as fast as possible. Okay, good enough for the moment. We'll keep that all assigned and see how our friends do. And you'll see them as you kind of fast forward. They'll be buzzing around. Oh, apparently they went right to the break room first. Nice. You know what? While it's late, I've decided to go ahead and kill everything in our reception area. Let's talk about a better way to handle reception. And I'm trying to think of a good way to make use of all of this open space we have. And instead of going top down, why don't we try something like this where we set up reception against this wall here? It's going to be a little bit in the way, but it's not going to break anything. People can walk in front of the desk to go down this hallway if they need to. But that way we could separate all of the different, I guess, departmental waiting areas into neat little rows. So something like this. So what if we have same kind of idea where we kind of have a row of benches, and eventually this, I don't know how many people are going to be waiting for any given, at any given time for all these different types of departments, but we'll have to take a look at the minimum size of a waiting area. I think it's 2 by 4. So we can actually fit quite a few waiting, I guess, department waiting areas in here. We're going to have just enough room to do this? Not quite. So, that being said, maybe I'll put the door on this side, and the entire center area is going to be nothing but yeah, that'll work out. Nothing but seats. Okay, so using this kind of measurement, if you will, if we really min-max the space, we'd be able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different department waiting areas in this zone, if you will. And I think, let's take a look at generic waiting room here for emergency. So, again, just 2 by whatever. And that's good enough for, it's not accessible, yes, because I closed off the wall. I'm sorry, hang on. Let me fix it before you freak out. And that's all you really need. And at the end of each of these rows, like we did before, we can put a little wall, even though it looks kind of funky. Just a little pillar. I guess it's not really that bad. I think I've seen that design a few times in a couple different areas. So we put an info TV here. We put a Q machine on the other side of that wall. And then there you go. That is the waiting area for that department. It looks very utilitarian and just weird though. So I'm not a huge fan per se, but it's probably gonna suit our needs though for the time being. We can figure out a better way to do this down the road, I think though. I don't really want to make every inch of this space as much as possible. I'd like to maybe, change some things up, try some different styles out. And I mean, really though, we've got a couple different departments. By the way, I'm using the mod that adds sexual health mod. So this is actually, I think, clinic only. There is no hospitalization for sexual health. You come in there for STDs, stuff like that, reproduction concerns. There's actually a sexual health lab, which is its own independent lab separate from the laboratory department. I think we also have oncology in here as well. So oncology, though, does definitely have its own hospitalization. And as you can tell, we have some new stuff over here because we did unlock the hospitalization part of our hospital, which I'm not going to be getting into tonight, or today rather. It's nighttime in the hospital. At some point, we definitely will. Also, note that the certainty level for oncology is default set to high, which is kind of interesting. That must be from the mod creator, which does make a lot of sense, right? Maybe we will always want high. Maybe that's what they're telling me. We always want to have the high certainty. Well, we should try that out. We'll set this to high certainty for a bit. Make sure we're not killing any of our patients. All right, let me mess around a bit with the waiting room, and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, there we go. After a little bit of experimentation and messing around, I think I've got kind of a nice little design. I think I'm going to try to kind of change up the corners a little bit. We can add, again, same thing. We can fit 2 departments in this corner, and we'll go with those rows of seating probably in the open area here in front of the reception desk. And we'll just see how many departments we can fit in here. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to turn out all right. Look at that. It looks nice, right? That looks somewhat a little bit nicer than the apocalyptic looking sadness that we had earlier. So I'm okay with that. What else do we have? A couple more things to clean up. And yeah, I think we're good to go. Look at us in our fancy place, huh? I'm digging it. I also put another bathroom right in this corner inside of the waiting area as well. Restrooms for everyone, my friends. No one has to wait. All right, well, let's enjoy the fruits of our labor. Let's go ahead and fast forward to tomorrow morning, and we'll see how the new clinic with all of its new departments does. I could go crazy and to keep taking out more and more loans, but at the end of the day, oh God, there's events that happen now. I think this is new with the DLC that they just released, holiday time. So 20% less patients arrive per day. Robert Foster has no workspace, I think because I deleted his old room. And so we need to reassign him to the reception desk. We'll also grab someone to share in the receptionness of his job. Anyone that can identify anyone right away? No, you're an alcoholic. You know what? Sure. What's the harm in hiring an alcoholic that could possibly be diagnosing someone's problems? So with the style that we've got here, we'll let them roam around as we talk. With the layout of the hallway and the layout of reception, that's the kind of theme that I'm thinking of keeping throughout this entire area. The only problem is going to be with the elevators. If the layout doesn't fit, we only have a little bit of time to really change where the elevators are before it's kind of set, because we're building around the elevators and we're not going to be able to change a whole lot without changing, 8 different floors or something. So maybe, I guess really the only other thing I would do is line up the elevator either on either side of this little hallway here. I don't see really a reason to do that though. I guess at the end of the day, it's fine where it is. We have a lot more departments to open up, by the way. So we've got internal medicine, we've got general surgery. General surgery is a little bit different, although they still do have a clinic version available. I just don't know how busy that clinic will be. I really don't know if each department is going to need like 7 doctor's offices. I know we're going to have to get a lot of general emergency clinics. We're going to have a lot more. And really, this entire corner might wind up being doctor offices at some point. So we'll at least have 2 more here. We can fit 1 more, and we can extend the hallway out. And I'll probably put a janitorial closet in this back area here as well. So that should handle, or should be able to handle, as many doctors as we need. At a certain point, you kind of even out with how many people are being sent to you every day. So if we wanted to look at the emergency hospitalization stuff, let's take a quick peek at that. So hospitalization was unlocked as a reward for opening a specialized department and treating some folks. So now we have the trauma center stuff. So the trauma center serves as the main entry point for emergency patients delivered by ambulance. It also accepts collapsed patients, so people who randomly collapse in the rest of your hospital. So we will want to have, that accessible to the rest of the hospital, was probably just have like a little pathway here. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of stuff for emergency patients that I'm really, really hesitant to open that up until we have a surgery ward, because we're going to start getting patients that are going to have critical needs, and they're going to need to get into surgery very, very quickly. So I want to have a surgical area set up, 100% set up and ready to go before we do anything with hospitalization, especially cardiology. I probably want to have cardiology for sure ready to go. Okay, room workload for the night shift. Guess what? There was no night shift. Here comes all of our staff members. Everybody walks to work. No one parks in the parking lot because it's for looks only, apparently. Here's all of our goals for today. Treat 20 patients per day. Enable hospitalization at emergency. That's going to give us an ICU, which is going to let us kind of basically monitor critical patients. Let's take a look at our first couple of, oh crap. First couple of folks, and I already screwed it up. Hang on. Let me extend out the, yeah, I did mess up the waiting area a little bit. Let's change this up a bit. Change you. Sorry. We'll extend this over. And we also have our internal medicine needs a waiting room as well. And then I also do need to include our little queues. And we'll add a TV on the opposite. Let's take the wall here. Yeah, I'll put a TV here and a TV on the opposite corner. There we go. That should take care of the waiting area for both departments. So what are you here for, my friend, that I just saw sit down that I screwed up? So Joseph Hill, you're being called. You are just going to, I like it when we don't know anything. It's actually kind of fun. Let's take a look and see what Joseph Hill has going on. He's not bleeding profusely. She had to come out and get him because we didn't quite have the queue system ready to go. I like how she has to go all the way back to her desk before he follows her. Oh, that was a little bit funky. What are you doing, dude? I broke that hardcore. All right, what do you got, man? Get an interview. I don't feel good. I'm not sleeping. I'm getting night sweats. Chronic fatigue syndrome. Chronic fatigue system of a down. Long reaction time, and boom, Patricia Wilson has already diagnosed him. Treatment is exercise. Jeez. There we go. Darcha, how you been doing, buddy? Hey, this is kind of cool. Yesterday, Darcha had a 100% accurate diagnostic rating. That's awesome. By the way, these rolls down here are what a doctor could possibly do based on their skills, their specialization, and what is allowed in the room they're in. So he can't assist at surgery when he's in a clinic. However, we could assign him to the on-call room for surgeons, and we'll talk about that later on. And so he could potentially assist at surgery if he gets that specialization, I believe. And this is, you can actually change or assign a specialization once someone gets to a certain skill level. I think it's, well, I mean, I guess it would be a specialist, right? No, specialist is too far. Probably after the residency is where somebody would be able to choose their specialization. We are pretty busy up at our main office right now. So let's go ahead and fill in that last office we had with a doctor. Let's grab someone who maybe is a 3-star. Daniel Harris. Yeah, you're a people person who has a long commute, but you're also comforting. You sound like a great addition to our diagnostic team. Always are looking a little bit bland. I might start throwing some random stuff down there every so often. Hey, is anyone being seen yet over at internal medicine? I don't think. Where's our internal doctor? Are you over at the break room again? Where did he go? What were you doing in here, bud? Oh, he actually might have stopped to get some water. That's fair. Rating the receptionist desk for water. Let's see if he's going to see any patients right now. Actually doesn't have anyone assigned to him, which is fine. We'll come back and take a look at him in a little bit. Let's let's do Darcha. Let's handle a patient of Darcha's here for just a bit before we go into a end of the episode. We'll go ahead and go back to management mode. Assign ourselves to Darcha. We are become Darcha. All right, so let's take a look at our chart. All right, let's take a look here. I'm mixing my knowledge of Scrubs along with Grey's Anatomy, so I'm sure somewhere along the line I'll get it right. So Margaret Davis is the person we're seeing currently. She has a swollen ear canal and otalgia, specific ear pain ranging from mild to severe. God, I've had this recently. It's awful. Constriction of the ear canal due to swelling of the lining and tissues, eardrops, analgesics. Okay, so triage, temperature measurement are the things that have happened so far. What about looking at the, I guess, physical exam? Would this include ENT, ear, nose, and throat? Oral, nasal. What about the ear? What is this? What's the equivalent of this test? Oh, right here. Ear exam. Interesting. The doctor is not qualified to prescribe, probably because that's going to be an internal thing, right? So if we really needed to, we could assign her to a new department, by the way, I don't think I've covered that at all. You can assign someone to a separate department. Although I think we're going to be able to figure this one out by just doing a normal yep, and there we go, a normal physical examination. So we revealed itching, and that finally gave us otitis externa, which is going to be antibiotics. So we'll go ahead and go with, hello? Assign this. Oh, when we assigned this, by the way, it opened up a new treatment. So we're going to go ahead and give her antibiotics. I think I had the exact same thing. Is this just a normal ear infection? Inflammation of the outer part of the ear canal caused by bacteria. I had that a couple of months ago. It was the most painful freaking thing I've ever had in my life. I went to the ER and begged them to pierce my eardrum because the pressure was so bad. Oof, I'll tell you what. I would have kissed Archa if he fixed me up there. All right, so there we go. He gave her her script. All we have to do now, I think, is just send her home. When you do that, by the way, you send her home. She's still going over to the pharmacy. As you can tell, it says going to pharmacy, so she'll be taking care of that. What else do we have today? William Barkley is currently waiting. Oh, this is cool. We actually haven't checked down these other departments. I completely forgot about our folks over here in the lab area. So this guy went up there. He had his skin tested, his rash tested, and he has cellulitis. So he'll also be getting some antibiotics. You're just sitting here waiting. What are you waiting on? Someone to do your test? Oh, cool. By the way, let's rotate this around so you can see. She is currently testing his skin or his sample. So that's the flashing orange. That means that someone is currently doing that kind of a test. So she actually met him at the door, got a sample of his skin, and you can see how she's going from all of these different tools. Now, these are the required tools in the workspace. So she had to have a PC. I don't know what this device is. Okay, that's a microscope. Sorry. I'm not very bright, apparently, late at night. But there's other ones too, like in the hemo lab. The centrifuge, I think, is one of the options that you might be able to put in there. And so you want to kind of keep their workspace or their tools relatively close to their workspace so they can kind of, go to the computer, go to the lab, go to the computer, go to the lab. You want that relatively small. This isn't too bad. This stuff is all extra, I think. She doesn't really need to go over there to get all the extra stuff. So he had his test completed. He's going to come back. We're going to tell him he's got cellulitis, and we're going to prescribe him antibiotics. So that's how it's working over there. No one currently in the MRI, so we don't get to watch that working. We've got Susan Davis. Wait, were you here yesterday? Oh, I think you were here yesterday, weren't you? Are you back? Did we? Yeah, I could have sworn we saw you, or no. Susan Davis, you had a bunch of issues with your chest. No, your bluish discoloration. Oh, isn't this like a problem with getting oxygen to the lungs? That's not good. Let's go ahead and give her a chest x-ray right away. Well, we'll do a physical examination. We'll also do chest, listen to the chest. Then we're going to go ahead and assign her. We'll wait on the results of this real quick. Where did she go to? Which room is she in? I can't actually tell. I've got all flipped around. All I did is rotate my screen twice, and I'm at a complete loss. There we go. So he's gonna go ahead and examine her. Interesting. She has hand pain and Raynaud's finding. Complete physical examination of the patient found classical symptoms of Raynaud's disease. This is really weird. So numbness and coldness in the hands. Oh, I think I've seen this before. A family relative has this. Their hand tends to go bluish in cold water. Interesting. So vasodilators is going to be what we give them. So assigning that over there, vasodilators, and go home, which means go to the pharmacy after you get your script. Okay, cool. You can actually click go home during the final phase of the interview, so to speak, and they will wait until they're given their prescription. So that's good to know. Let's see if we get William back. We get to tell him that he's all sorts of funked up. Nope, we get someone brand new. We'll finish the day out with this random person who seems to have a common cold. You've got the sneezing, you've got the congestion. We'll go ahead and do neck, palpitation, physical exam, take your measurement. This will probably do it with whatever they're going to have. Paul Thomas, man, you're really bringing us down. Here we were ready to fight lupus and whatever else came up, but no. How do we narrow this down? Okay, this is another way we can take a look at this tool here. So to separate from common cold and influenza, we can do oral cavity inspection, listening to the chest, which we've already done. Oh, we haven't done that yet, have we? We have not. Let's go ahead and listen to the chest. This is a great tool. This menu here, again, I'm clicking the little tiny diagnosis table. This is showing us all of the possible symptoms of a certain type of disease or whatever's going on. And so you're basically trying to trigger one of these other symptoms to help them differentiate. So interview, we've already done that. Oral cavity inspection would be another good one. I think between these two, yep, sure enough, we got the common cold. So I will go ahead and assign common cold. We'll give them rest. And I think that's pretty much it. As soon as it turns from hospitalized to home, you can click on it and basically send the person on their way. All right. That sounds like a pretty successful day, friends. I think I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in the episode here. Thank you so much for joining me for more Project Hospital. You know what? I think our hospital is starting. Don't look at directly at the exposed, nasty outside, but it's starting to look relatively professional, right? We've got a little bit of a look going on here. We need a little bit more stuff in the, maybe a plant, like one single plant in the hallway for all time. There, a little tiny cactus in the corner or something. Here's your freaking potted plant. Welcome to our hospital. Thanks so much for joining me for this episode of Project Hospital. I look forward to bringing you more hospital tycoon goodness here in the next one, friends. Until then, please do take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.